Hello, this is Brittany. Welcome back to American Shade. And this is such a random video. I literally have no script. I'm just gonna go off the cuff with this. Um, hmm. Me and my me and Malcolm have the same glasses. That's hilarious. I wanted to get on here and discuss a few things. One, I have gotten so many messages and emails about conversations, how to have them, how to be successful at them. And instead of writing each of you back, I'm just going to give you 5 tips on how I have conversations with people on a public platform, which transitions into, real life. But before I go into that, I want to say if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. One. Two, I also have an announcement to make. I am going to be doing a different thing this the rest of this year. I'm going to actually be teaching a writing course. It is a freshman college course, and I'm really excited about it. It's only first semester. This is something that I thought about doing much later in life, being a professor of some sort, like the greats, Baldwin, Toni Morrison. The list goes on. Cornel West. I mean, we can keep going. I wanted to take this on because I was scared. I wanted to take this on because I've never taught a writing course before. But with the encouragement of my former professor at this university, and also she's been my mentor since 2012 when my writing absolutely sucked. It was horrid. But she saw something in me and was the key factor that really pushed me beyond my limits and my potential. That's what I actually want to do for this course and these students that are going to be taking my class. I want to push them past what they think their potential is and make them challenge themselves, not just with their writing, but with their thinking. And obviously, this is going to take away from me, uploading content on this platform. This is even going to take away from me with my writing and my journalism that I do as well. But this is something that I felt like I needed to do, and it was an opportunity that I didn't want to pass by and regret. So I'm going to be doing that, and it starts at the end of this month, and I'm excited. Like, I am really excited about it, and I think that it's going to be a nice way to get my feet wet into seeing how teaching might look like for me in the future. And yeah, so hey, who knows? But I'm excited about that. But now that we got that out of the way, let's go into the tips of conversations. Number one, not number one, these are really not in any order, but all 5 of these I feel are really key on how I conduct dialogue with people, especially people I don't agree with. I try to be as open-minded as I can and willing to learn. Like, I come into the conversation really open to just hearing them out and learning something from them, like trying to learn something from them. And by trying to learn something from them requires me to listen to them, which is another key factor. And by listening to them is a deterrent, actually, indirectly or directly, not to just want to respond and get my point in, but just to really hear them, just to respond, but to actually dialogue and to have a great discussion with them. Also, I would say, I know this word is thrown around, good faith, but it is so key to have that. I had someone email me, what if you go into a conversation with someone and they don't have good faith? Like, you kind of feel like they might come in combative. You kind of feel like they might come in wanting to debate or be argumentative. What do you do? And the best thing you can do is control yourself. The best thing you can do is you come in with good faith. Because if they see that you are defiantly not going to play those games, they might back off or they might provoke you. But no matter what I've learned and trust, I've been in situations and conversations where I know they're trying. And it's not like a paranoia of, I think they are. I know that they are trying to get a reaction out of me. And I choose not to react. You still have the choice. You do not have to react if they provoke you. You have the choice of you can even end the conversation in the most polite way for you. So it looks good on your part. But I would even stick it out. And I've stuck out conversations where I felt like they have such a bad faith. They came in this automatically just writing me off and they're not even listening to me. And there's a way to wrap it up and there's a way to stay in the conversation and keep your dignity. I mean, and keep who you are and not let them change how you navigate, with people and on an interpersonal level. Good faith is like the foundation. You have to have that, which goes into my other point, which is I do my best. Of course, you want to know a little bit about the person. Okay, I'm talking more like a public conversation. Let's just say like, oh, like Coleman Hughes or like Brett Weinstein or whoever, like Cornel West. I'm throwing it out there because I really want to talk to him. I don't really have to dig into these people because I know them. You know what I mean? Like I know before I had a conversation with Brett or Coleman, I knew their work. So it wasn't anything I needed to like deep dive in. But other people that might ask me to come on their podcasts, I might listen to maybe one or two or just get the gist or get the gist of what they send me in an email. But I do not watch their interviews or conversations with anyone before our conversation or even that week. If it's a week gap or days up, I don't watch anything. I don't get any type of other discussions in my head because maybe subliminally I feel if they had a moment with someone that might have been combative or it might have went left or right, you might think, oh, they're going to do that to me. I got to be on guard. And it doesn't even have to be that way. And it's funny because one person that I talked to, I won't say his name, but I researched this person enough where I was like, okay, I can have a conversation with them. And then I went on their platform and I just talked very organically, authentically myself. And I actually talked about how, and I think we're talking about Jordan Peterson. And I said, yes, like what he's saying, I don't feel is transphobic, but I did say like, but I did say like the trans community, should not be bashed, should not be discriminated against. And I do think we need to take the issues that happen there seriously. And, and that was a very small moment. It was like 5 minutes maybe. And then I didn't realize this person was like an advocate. I don't want to say advocate. Well, kind of like was very vocal about their opinions, I'll say, about that community. Not in a positive way, in a negative way. But I didn't know, right? So I wasn't saying this stuff to this person to provoke them. Like they could tell that I probably never heard them talk about this community before. And they didn't say anything back to me. They weren't like, what? Like you shouldn't, be championing them or you shouldn't be, in their corner. They were very just, okay, yeah, I understand. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was just, not even a moment that anyone in the comments really even talked about that are their fans. Because it wasn't anything I came in like guns blazing, like, I'm gonna insert this. It was completely like I just said it. I would advise not to intake a ton of someone's stuff before you have your chance to interact with them. And I would even say that on like interpersonal, like micro level, like day to day, if you're having a conversation with someone, it's like, okay, we're gonna have a conversation. All right, blah, blah, blah. We're gonna meet on Zoom, whatever, or in person for coffee now. Don't go on their social media and stalk their lives. Don't be going. Don't try to get ammo, not even ammo, but don't get too curious about a person. You're going to meet them or you're going to talk to them. So if you're curious, ask them the question then, but don't pry into people's business before, because if you do, you might slip up and say something where they're like, there's no way you could have known that unless you were stalking my life. So that's, what's another one? Oh, the last thing. What I have done, and this, I guess this is more so if you find yourself doing a podcast or find yourself doing something public, even just to yourself. I would say this is a good lesson for anyone to do on their own. When I remember when I was about to do the conversations with like Coleman, and that was a live event, so I made sure I knew what I was freaking talking about. Brett and so many other like New Liberals podcasts, like I don't know, there's so many where I wrote out a ton of my ideas that I knew was going to be brought up and or that I thought might be brought up. And I mean wrote them out where I have thick you know, pages, books, like notepads filled of my thoughts written out, not types, specifically written out, because there's something about transcribing it with your hand that makes you really understand if you know what you're talking about in a different way than typing. I'll go into that later in another video. I don't want to get into what that is, but it's just different. Sometimes when you're typing, I type very fast, and sometimes you don't have time to really, you're thinking, and maybe it's just me. Maybe this is actually my thing where I really find writing out my ideas more difficult than typing them out, because I'm a fast typer and I can get them out, get them out, get them out. But when I'm writing, with a pen, and I'm making sure that each word I'm saying is what I mean. And also when I'm writing it out, I might already be leaning towards trying to summarize my ideas in a way where I could relay it to someone else in a way where they could get it. See, if I type something, I might type it out and it might be 3 pages because I'm typing like everything in my mind and I type fast, so it's not a big deal. But if I'm writing something, writing it, it can hurt your hand, it takes time. And sometimes I'm like, how can I write this more succinctly, more concise? And whatever was 3 pages, typed on a Microsoft document might be 1 page, with a pen. When you're writing it out, you have to logically be making sense of what you are putting on the paper. And then when you read it back, sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I feel that way anymore. Or I don't know if this is exactly what I mean. And there's been times where I write something out, go back to notes, and I'm like, that's shifted a little bit. That's changed a little bit. But if you can write it out, that means more so you know what you're talking about, literally, because you can't just be writing something out. And then if it makes no sense on the paper, then it probably makes no sense to you. Like you probably have maybe regurgitated this so much to where you're like, why did I believe this again? Where did this come from? What do I even mean by this? This is so ambiguous. Like, this is hazy. Like, what does this mean? And this can help you just to be more clear about your thoughts, and that way you can be more clear in the conversation. And I feel like that really showed up when I had those conversations with Weinstein and Hughes, because I did so much. One, I over prepared probably because I was nervous. I'm like, I'm talking to these big dogs, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't rambling like I am now. I wanted to make sure that I just wanted to make sure I had something to say, but not just have something to say, but know what I'm actually talking about. I just find writing something out is a different experience than typing something, than typing something. It's more intimate. Like, you're getting even, I feel like I'm getting closer to my mind when I write and transcribe. And that's just me. I would say top 5 things: come in it with good faith, no matter what. No matter if they don't have it, you keep your good faith, period, until the conversation's over. Yell after the conversation and when the Zoom is over. And with that, stay calm. Even when they're trying to provoke, stay calm. Because sometimes it can be paranoia, and then you're going off of a feeling and it's not even there. Listen to them. Listen. Really listen. Be willing to have an open mind to learn. Be open-minded and be open-minded to learn something from them, period. And then do not watch too much of their stuff before the conversation. Do not stalk them on Facebook before the conversation or Instagram and be like, I don't like what they posted this. And then you bring that energy in. Like, no. Keep your energy as positive as you can. And then lastly, like I said, write what you think, if that is good for you. Everyone has their process, but make sure you've made logical sense of big ideas, small ideas, before you go and tell someone something in a conversation about something you believe. And then while you're saying it, you're like, dang, I don't even think I even know what I'm talking about. That's the worst feeling to have. So yeah, those are my tips. That's my announcement. And there's always more on the way. And thank you for watching this video with my Malcolm X glasses. And as always, peace, love, less shade.